and welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast, sponsored by Motivate Training and Management. This is a podcast where we talk to drivers and industry experts to help you maximize your performances on and off the track. Let's get started with today's show. Hello crew, welcome to episode 131 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. I am your host Belinda Risley, and this week team, I've decided to present to you the Facebook Lives that I did this week in our free Facebook group. So over in the Motorsport Fitness group, where we generally concentrate on fitness, nutrition, mindset, I did, which you're going to hear in a moment, some information around about skills required to be a successful driver and a little bit of insight into our upcoming pre-season program that is going to be commencing on the 1st of November. So if you're interested and you're needing some better results for 2023, you're really after some fitness, nutrition and mindset content, race over to today's show notes, which will have all those details about our upcoming pre-season course. And then the second half of today's podcast is what I did over in our Motorsport sponsorship group. And to follow on from last week's podcast with Philippa, I went into some do's and don'ts about dealing with the media. So I hope that you guys will get lots of content, lots of tips, I'm reading and I'm writing, from both of these episodes. And of course, if you haven't already joined these free Facebook groups, the links will be in today's show notes. So race over and join these notes pretty much every week, these groups every week. I jump on, hopefully, and I speak better than this. No, not really. And go through some different tips, latest research, some strategies to help improve your performance, all for free. Philippa, as mentioned last week, has kindly agreed to do a masterclass for everybody next Tuesday, the 18th of October. So if you're interested in learning more about starting on your media strategy, again, race over to the show notes or head over to motivatetraining.com.au/podcast to episode 131, and you will see all those links for the two Facebook groups, for the media masterclass, as well as our pre-season program coming up. Team, I do hope you get something out of today's show. Of course, if you do, I'd love for you to tag us on social, take a screenshot of your preferred platform that you're listening from today, or do us a video testimonial on what you thought about or what you got out of today's episode. We'd love to hear it, positive as well as negative, and so we can obviously grow as well. Hope that you enjoy the show, and next week, well, you'll have to stay tuned. Until then, happy Tuesday, crew. Welcome to this week's Q&A. We're talking about skills of a driver. I'm Belinda Risley, founder of Motivate Training. For those I haven't met before, if you're not watching live, I'd love to hear that you're watching the replay, and hope you're all doing well. And I can't wait to get some feedback on what you think a skill of a great driver is. So thank you for everyone who participated in the poll. We did a poll here within the Facebook group as well as over on Instagram around what kind of skills do you think that motorsport athletes should possess. And some of those responses were, like discipline, personality, respect, great family life, attitude, patience, passions, adaptability, awareness of surrounding, motivated, leaving the past in the past, and professionalism. So there are lots of different traits that a driver does require, and we're going to go into a few more details. I've kind of got like 12 main ones that we've established, and this is what we always work through within all of our programs. So we've got an athlete performance program, and also coming up we do have a pre-season 12-week program coming up. So it is important that when you are wanting to take your career from a hobby into a career, that you do of course have a plan in place, not only for sponsors, a social media strategy, but you also need a strategy for your personal development, so the off-track development side, and what and how are you investing within yourself. So these are some of the skill sets that we've researched and found that a lot of teams as well as owners are looking for within a driver. So obviously the first one goes without saying is driving skills. All right. So it is important that you need to have the technical driving skills required so that you can keep control of the car at high speeds. So that means that you know how to take corners, how to use your competitive slipstream, how to brake and accelerate with maximum efficiency. Professional drivers know they must scan where they need to go ahead of time, and they're in the shortest possible distance within the fastest possible time. So every moment must be second nature, because when you're making decisions, you don't want to have to second guess yourself. All right. So making sure that you know how to obviously control your vehicle is really important. Number 2 is having a high level of physical fitness. Obviously, that's why you're within this group. So you're needing to ensure that you're concentrating on your strength, your core, flexibility, your neck strength, and recovery system as well. So you need to have a plan for all of those things, a plan, a program, and working with a personal trainer. Again, something that a schedule that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Motorsport athletes, as we know, are like one of the fittest athletes in the world. So this is with your fitness training. It's something that needs to be doing all year through. So I'd love to hear, you can comment below, what do you do for your fitness training? Are you more cardio based? Do you work with a personal trainer? Do you work from home? In our upcoming preseason program, our programs will be developed on our app. So if you don't know Motivate, we do have our own app where you can do them at home or also at the gym. So I'd love to know in the comments, if you're watching the replay, where do you train and how do you train? As mentioned, you also need, number 3, is to have a high level of stamina. So it's really important that you're doing lots of cardio-based training. That could be running, mountain bike riding, rock climbing, swimming, rowing, any of those kind of exercises. So again, I'd love to hear what you guys do and what kind of exercises that you enjoy doing. Number 4 is obviously having an extremely good level of concentration. So as mentioned, you're needing to ensure that you're quite decisive, and so therefore you need a very clear mind. Okay, so in addition to the physical endurance, a racing driver must have the mental and the emotional fortitude to stay focused during a race. So you need a lot of mental grit to stay cool under pressure, and that's just not physical pressure. So drivers, as you know, you're facing immense pressure from sponsors, team, and fans to also perform well and to win races. We know that half of a race's inner battle is emotional too. So letting your emotions get the best of you during a race, like getting angry when someone passes you, stressing out about errors, or getting too excited before you've actually won, can lead to costly mistakes on the track. So the best thing to do is drive without emotion and process and feelings after the race. You need to use your passion as fuel to get better instead of losing control. So again, when you do race, after you finish, obviously you come back generally in and you have a debrief with your mechanic or engineer, depending on what you're racing. But do you also do a debrief on your physical performance? Do you come in and actually have a book? We are actually in the process of developing a new app and hopefully a new journal to coincide with this, that where you can actually come in and start to dissect your physical performance as well as your mental performance on that race. So things like, were you happy with your race performance? Did you take a corner incorrectly? Are you writing down what you feel like your strengths and weaknesses are after each of those races? If you're not, I highly recommend that's something that you do invest your time within and start doing so. If you need a template to get started, please just write race report into this replay and I'll be happy to send it out to you for free, which is just a basic form that you can fill out and it can start to get your thought processes around how you can better improve yourself going forward out into that racetrack. So we know that mindset is a really big focus on race performance. What else do I have? So 1, 2, 3. So number 4 is obviously excellent reflexes. We need to be able to remove it quickly around the track, braking, acceleration. So working onto those fast reflexes. We know timing is everything. So split-second decisions and reactions are often the difference between winning and losing a race, especially since winning often comes down to a tenth of a second. So that's why professional drivers undergo special training to improve hand-eye coordination, peripheral vision, so their reflexes can stay sharp. So again, I'd love to hear, what do you guys do to work onto your reflexes? Tell me about it. I'd love to know. And if you don't know or you don't know how to get started, also write that into the comments. This group is here for you guys. I'm here for you guys to better educate you around and to maximize your performances. So if you don't know, just put, I don't know how to get started with reflex training, and we can develop some content for you and bring it into one of these next training sessions. All right, next on our list is obviously being self-motivation. So he's having a big self-motivation. If you're not motivated to be onto the track, then it's just not going to work, pretty much. You need to... you need to also have lots and lots of confidence. So part of the mental game in professional racing is also projecting confidence. So even when you're not feeling particularly sure of yourself, your teams, your fans and sponsors are relying on you to do your best. So it's important to play the part. So along with confidence, you need charisma. Race car drivers use charisma to attract sponsors and win over fans during closed-door meetings and televised interviews. So as a driver, you are a highly public figure and the face of the team, and often the spokespersons for various brands that support you. So those skill sets are very important as well. So again, how are you improving your confidence? How are you improving your public speaking and your charisma? Are you going through a public speaking course? Are you working on doing videos, going live? I hate them, as you can see. But I have to do them. It causes me so much stress and anxiety. But I know it's important so that you guys can know what's going on and keep educating you, even though it might come across a bit crazy. All right, what else? It's also important, number 6, to clearly have an understanding of your race strategy. So being able, obviously, to work within your team, having mechanical knowledge. So a race car driver needs to know their vehicle inside and out. So understanding how each of the thousands of parts inside that your race car works together is crucial in getting the most efficiency from your vehicle. Mechanical knowledge also gives you the foresight to do preventative maintenance and adjust to changing conditions in a race. So a driver who's in tune with their car will be able to feel when something's wrong and direct their engineering team accordingly. So again, what are you investing in to get that knowledge? Are you spending weekends pulling it apart, pulling your vehicle apart and putting it back together? Are you investing within a driver instructor or driver trainer to help you with that process? Again, I'd love to know what you're doing. If you can pop it into the comments and let us know. Obviously, just to think quick, we spoke about being decisive and having quick reflexes, but you also need to have a clear mind as well and having a growth mindset. Again, improving your skills, meaning that you're needing to invest in your time, your resources, your financials as well in developing your personal development off track. So things like it takes years of training commitment. Some people will claim that racing is in their blood, that these skills are needed to win on the track and not something you're just born with. So developing complex skills require deep dedication to the process of failing, learning and trying again time after time. Having a growth mindset means you stay humble through the process with the understanding that each day is a new day to train and improve. There's always someone faster than you until you finally found yourself passing that checker flag a tenth of a second ahead of everyone else. So what are you doing to, again, work on your mindset? Enzo Mucci last week had a fantastic podcast or video on YouTube that he does. And he's saying if you're spending 60 minutes a day on physical work, that you should be spending 90 minutes a day on your mental preparation. So again, what are you doing for your mental preparation? Are you journaling? Are you working with a sports psychologist? Are you working with a sports hypnotherapist? What is your secret weapon? And if you don't know that Motivate, we do have our own secret weapon, and we do have a team of sports psychologists and sport hypnotherapists. So if you are looking for some assistance with some mindset work, again, please get in contact or write into the comments, and I can send you off with a referral to get you started. All right. What else is another key element here is being a team player. Although motorsports seems to be an individual sport, but we all know that it is a teamwork. So you may be one in the driver's seat, but you're not going to get anywhere without your team. So everyone from the pit crew to the engineer team, crew chief, team manager, and sponsors are critical to your success on and off the track. So you need to have that adaptability and that personality to be able to effectively communicate with people in order to analyze and improve performance, appropriately modify or repair the vehicle, and to secure funding. So again, how are you working with you and your team? Do you and your team actually do any team building exercises at the beginning of the year, throughout the the year. If not, and that's something that you're interested in, we certainly are here at Motivate do have some team building exercises. So if you are interested, just let us know. There's also, we offer some strength-based assessments and some different personality assessments that if you're looking to start your own team or to build on your team, that you can put into place to making sure that you're recruiting the right people for your team that's going to work most efficiently for you. Things like communication styles are really, really important. So we do have those assessments available. And if you already have your team, I do highly recommend maybe during that off season that you go back and start to look at those personality types and the communication methods and how people like to communicate, and to see if your team is working efficiently. So I guess just to wrapping up, the big thing here is about commitment. As you know, we keep saying that motorsport is a business. You need to have a plan for everything that you're doing, as mentioned before, a media strategy, a PR strategy, a social media strategy, a fitness plan. There are so many clogs of this working piece that you need to have put into place. So I would like to know, again, how much time do you put into your off-track development, and what does that look like? Do you have a plan to improve your performance off-track and not just driving on track? As I mentioned, I do have that race report, so if you're interested, just put race report and I can send that out to you. But again, so we do have that 12-week pre-season program that's going to be starting on the 1st of November. So if this is all a little bit new and a little bit overwhelming and you haven't contemplated having putting all of this into place, I do highly recommend that you come over and have a look at that pre-season program that will be starting on the 1st of November. There'll be obviously more details coming up into this group. Once this video is posted, I'll put the link to just register your interest at the moment. We haven't got the page finalized as yet. And then once the page is finalized, I'll send you over some more information. I'm here for you guys. If you do have any questions around about improving your physical and mindset performance and nutritional needs, please let me know. I'm happy to jump onto the calls and do a free strategy call at any time. You can just email me over at win@motivatetraining.com.au. Of course, go over to the website and fill out the contact form, and I'll be in contact with you, and we can see how we can help maximize your performance. Have a fantastic week. I did say I was going to do fatigue management as well, but I'm going to jump on a little bit later this week, probably on Thursday, on Friday, and go through that. That one will definitely be a lot quicker. But once I started getting to the skills of a driver, I was really excited, and as you can hear, there was lots of information to go through. So again, didn't want to overwhelm you too much about that. I'll see you guys later this week, and take care. Hi crew, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is keeping safe. I'm not sure where you reside, but I'm located in regional Victoria and the rain is coming big and hard and strong. Fingers crossed we don't get flooded. So we're kind of on flood watch at the moment. Again, I hope everyone else is keeping safe. Today, team, just quickly going to jump on and go a little bit further into media. What is media, the different types of media. Of course, last week in the Motorsport Coaching Podcast interview with Philippa from Media Master Coach, she did go into that. So if you haven't already checked it out, I highly recommend that you race back to your preferred media platform or race over to motivatetraining.com.au/podcast and listen to what she had to say. Philippa will also be joining us next Tuesday, the 18th of October at 7 p.m. Daylight Savings Time, to go into more details around about getting started with the media strategy and what kind of goes within that. So just to recap, basically, what is media? So media is the plural of a medium. It refers to the communication channels through which we disseminate news, music, movies, education, promotional materials, and other data. It includes physical and online newspapers, magazines, TV, radio, billboard, faxes, if you're still using faxes, telephone, internet, and the likes of those. So it describes various ways through which we communicate in society. Everything ranging from a telephone call to somebody to the evening news can be called media. So when we're talking about reaching a very large number of people, we say mass media. Local newspapers refer to that. For example, your local TV or radio crew. So there are different types of medias. So media can be broken basically into 3 different types of categories. So broadcast, print, and the internet. And again, Philip is a lot better at explaining all the different channels of media that you can use to get your message out there. I guess the most important thing is to making sure that you do actually have a strategy put into place. That obviously the different medias require different kind of type of content. And again, we're going to go run through that within the workshop and over the next couple of weeks. So basically, print media includes all types of publications, including newspapers, journals, magazines, books, and reports. Obviously, a broadcast media refers to radio, TV, and online services. And then, of course, the internet, which is our social media, our websites, blogs, and vlogs. So obviously, there's lots of different mediums you can get your message out there. You don't necessarily have to do them all, but obviously do the preferred one that's going to resonate or that's really easy for you. But ensuring that your story and your content is going to be aligned with that medium. Again, we'll go through more details in the upcoming workshop on Tuesday night. But basically, media is different to PR. You need to have kind of both online, and that they do kind of work hand in hand over a period of time. So media coverage obviously can give you the benefits, can give you some exposure to new potential fans. It can give you exposure to new potential marketing partners. Of course, we're here to gain sponsors and maintain sponsors. Media can help you provide value to your current marketing partners by giving them additional reach beyond your core fan base. It will give you a platform to share parts of your story that you haven't shared elsewhere. So again, just making sure that your story is a little bit different across all the different mediums. And it allows fans to connect with you on a different level through your voice or image on podcast or videos or blogs, whatever you love doing. And that's why it's really important that when you are choosing a media platform, that it's something that you really enjoy doing. Some other points that media can help you is provides additional point of references for the know, like, and trust factor. So we know in order for sponsors and people to invest with you, they need to know all about you and they need to trust you. And they need to know when we say about you, so that not only just your racing life, but your personal life as not all of your personal life, but a little bit of an insight about who you are, what makes you tick, what's your hobbies, your interests. You can share a little bit about your family if you want, and of course you don't have to. That all comes down to your branding. So within the Motorsport Sponsorship Winning Sponsors course that we have available, we go through all of this around getting started with your media strategy and what needs to be included and how all those parts get you to starting off onto that strategy. So if you're interested to know some more information about getting started with that Winning Sponsors course, just put in sponsorship course into the comments and I'll send you some more information. Some other examples what media can help you do is allow you to create new messaging about yourself, your products, your sponsors. So that's a fantastic point. And it can also set you apart from your competitors. So, if you're doing it and somebody else is not doing it, that obviously is going to give you a competitive edge when teams are looking or who to promote or who to take on board and so forth. So having a media strategy, obviously the more that you're seen and people can hear about you and know about your story, the more willing they are to come on board and to join your journey. And also media obviously just helps provide the hard metrics and credibility for marketing partners. So that's a big thing as well, obviously with sponsorship, that people want to know, your sponsors want to know the data behind your brand, and media obviously will give you that outlet. So some things to do to get started with media is actually have a media strategy. So if you haven't started thinking about it, there are a lot of components of off-track development when it comes to being a motorsport athlete. Unfortunately, we understand that a lot of you just want to get out there and go to racing, but unfortunately there is a lot of things that need to happen behind the scenes in order to keep you onto the track. So of course, if you don't have the time or the resources to do it, I highly recommend you investing that time into media training, into a PR manager to help you with your messaging to help you with your confidence, to help with your storytelling, your press release, and your PR. That's point number 2. Point number 3 would be what points do you want to communicate about yourself? So if you don't have that resource to be able to hire somebody at this point of time, then you are going to have to require to do it yourself. So these are some strategies that you can put into play to start making that strategy. And that is, what points do you want people to know about yourself? So are you racing a new class in 2023? Are you joining a new race team? Are you going to be racing internationally? So again, you just need to start pointing down, dot points down into what your story looks like going forward. And then you can start to work and build on that story as you know exactly what you'll be doing in the 2023. Point number 3 is establish your storylines for each of those mediums. So as I previously just mentioned, that each of the mediums have different requirements to be on there. So obviously you're going to do a TV interview. It's going to be different if you're going to do an Instagram live versus if you're going to be doing a print interview. So making sure that you're clear with your storylines and making sure that you have the ability to know them clearly and be able to adapt them accordingly to each of those interviews. Number 4 is to obviously establish those contacts. So do you know who the local contact is at your local TV or newspaper? Do you know who is the main or a journalist at the national magazine or your commentator? If not, that's also part of the strategy, is to start researching who all these people are, make a note of it, and build that relationship with those people. Number 5 is start to compile an album of your best pics or video reels that you can pull on straight away. So certainly if there's a request to do some sort of interview, that you can say, hey, here's my biopic, ideally without your helmet or sunglasses on, that you can send forward to them. Or it could be a video, or it could be a highlight reel that happened on your last race week. And so just try and start to compile an album together, predominantly on Google Drive, so it's easier to share that link. Make sure you open that link so people can access that easily. And you're wanting those images to be in high resolution, that's easier for the journos or the print to be able to publish them straight away. Number 8 is that if you do have a race team and you work within a team environment, it's just to ensure that the whole team is around what the media strategy is. Sometimes, as we can see, when there are bigger race teams, they may go in and interview the engineer or the mechanic, or even the sponsorship marketing person. So just making sure that everybody's on the same page and is across the same messaging. So if they do come into into your tent or into your pit, that everybody is saying the same story, so you look united. Especially like if there has been an incident, you don't want to get emotions involved in the content, because we know that can come back and bite us. So making sure that everybody at the beginning of the quarter, of the month, of the year is across what your media strategy is going to look like for the year. And as I said, it's great to get your team involved in those interviews as well. So hey, make us up, and we're only as good as our team. So, if you do have an opportunity to go into a TV show or to be interviewed, recommend that you can bring your mechanic or your engineer or even your sports psychologist or your fitness trainer and give it a bit more of an insight. And again, that is being a little bit different, and just not just about you and your story. It's about your team and what keeps you onto the track. Point number 9 is to review the interviews and the stories. So once they've actually gone out to the press and they're out there for everybody to see, again, if it's like a TV interview or live interview, that you go back and watch it and to see what you could improve on. If it's fantastic, well done. But even get a friend to look at it, or somebody else within your team, and then just trying to build on that growth every time that you're doing an interview. And again, whether that's face-to-face interview, podcast, or written, just review every time you've undergone some sort of media release or media contact. And then point number 10 is just to big one here is just to follow up with those journos and making sure that you're saying thanks in your own unique way. Okay, so that could be something simple as writing them a thank you note. It could be sending them a merchandise shirt or some sort of merchandise, or it could just be simply sending them an email. But again, in your own unique way, make sure you're thanking the journos or the organisation that has given you exposure. Obviously, it's all about building rapport and establishing those networks. And then definitely if they've been someone fun to work with and the interviews come across really well and it's got a lot of engagement, the next time that you are racing or competing or going up or there's any great news, they're going to be happy to interview you or to have you on their show again, knowing what kind of response they're going to get. So making sure that we're following So that's the 10 do's, and I've just got 5 don'ts of what we'd want to implement when we're talking about media. Is that don't send out or post anything without a story, a message, or a call to action. So every time that you're wanting to put out a press release or you're wanting to get media, there needs to be a reason why behind it. And if there's a why, there needs to be, again, a clear message about what the why is about. Again, are you promoting something? You've got new sponsors, you're racing a new class, you've got a new dog. But the reason that you've got a new dog is maybe because you're now becoming a brand ambassador for guide dogs. So making sure that there's always a clear message around why you're getting the exposure, why you want the exposure, that your story is consistent, and then ideally like that you have a call to action. So it could be, please follow my page or please go and donate over to the Guide Dogs Association. But again, as you can hear, that every example is going to be quite different and unique to you. So it's something that you probably need to take the time down to I think that I've got this one down as number 4. Oh no, that's number 5. Anyway, I'll come back to that number 5. Anyway, so don't number 2 is don't let your emotions get in the way when you're responding after an incident. Or you've heard some news that's not actually factual. So the last thing that you want to do is be interviewed by a journalist, or have someone come up and ask you their opinion on something, and then you give it to them and it's reported incorrectly or not exactly what you said. So especially, again, after kind of an incident, try and keep your emotions intact. You can even say no comment, even though people don't really like that at all. But I personally prefer you to say, look, no comment until maybe I've seen the replay or I've got some more information, I've looked at the GoPros, whatever the situation is, because you certainly don't want that bad press. You don't want people going out and giving you some unnecessary bad PR, because it's very hard to come back from once you've got that, especially now in today's society with so many different meeting platforms out there. Number 3 is that when you are doing a TV interview, I've mentioned it before, is not to wear your sunglasses. Even though it could be 40 degrees and you're burning it out there, obviously people want to see your face, making sure that you're taking your helmet on. You'll see most of the top line drivers of the categories do take off their helmets, and they're generally putting on a sponsorship cap or the sponsors of the category. So making sure, so point 3 is just taking off those sunnies. Number 4 is don't do media if you have a personal issue with that medium. So if you don't like that journal, you don't like that newspaper, because again, we don't want bad press release. And if you've got a little bit of angst against that journal because maybe they did write something bad about you before, if you haven't had that opportunity to write the wrong don't go with a negative vibe, because again, you can keep that ball rolling. And I've got a few case studies that we go through that in the Winning Sponsors course around how bad PR can be a nightmare, but it also can be a positive thing, but very rarely is it. And number 5, as just mentioned, is that obviously take the time, like 1 or 4 times a year, to review your strategy. So you could be doing it once a year, again, where you're sitting down for 1 to 2 days to work out your media strategy, and then you're reviewing once a quarter just to make sure it's online. Things that you want to include, again, is like where you want to get exposure, how you want to get exposure, how are you going to get that exposure, and exactly what is your story and your messaging about that. Again, if you're not quite sure where to start, we've got a few people that we refer to here that we can, at Motivate, that I can put you in contact. So if you are wanting to do a clearer media strategy, just put in media strategy into the content and I can send you out some contacts to get you started. But really, at the end of the day, if you don't have time, this could be the difference between getting seen and known and getting your next opportunity, as opposed to having all these great race results and nobody hearing or knowing about that because you haven't got this media and a PR strategy put into place. So team, as I said, that was it. I was trying to keep it under 10 minutes, but I'm not really good, am I? Next week, I will try and do them under 10 minutes to keep you guys engaged. As mentioned, next Tuesday night, the 18th of October at 7 p.m, the expert, Philippa from Media Master Coach, will be coming in to talk about everything media, getting that strategy put into place and what goes into a strategy. over the next couple of weeks, obviously I'll still be doing these free content, and we're going to be going through more around media interviews, how to improve that, voice, lighting, all of those fun things with media as well. So hopefully you will join me. And next Wednesday, 1 o'clock, or if not, to watch that replay. If you've got any questions, please be in contact. We're here to help as best as we can. Have a great week, team, and I will see you live next Wednesday. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, remember, all the show notes with the links and the specials mentioned in today's show are available over at motivatetraining.com.au. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate if you could head to iTunes or Stitcher, type in Motorsport Coaching, subscribe, and leave us a review. Each week, I'll read them out, and you'll go into a monthly draw to win a fantastic prize. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at motivatetraining.com.au or head over to our Facebook page at Motivate to Tea. Until next time, take care.